And Spurs do it again. They're leading 1-0 against 10 men. It's there for the taking. They're sitting third in the league, 3 massive points, and they sit back. They invite on the pressure. They stupidly go down to 10 men. Lucas Moura with an idiotic red card, a pointless red card. The team sitting back, absorbing the pressure instead of killing the game off. And Michael Keane with a thunderbolt. Michael Keane with the strike of his life gives Everton a much-needed point, takes 2 away from Tottenham, and they bottle it again. Again. Spurs fans everywhere must be fuming tonight. Conte gone. An opportunity to start fresh, an opportunity to go out there and be what you want to be. Express yourself. Poor throughout the majority of the game, Tottenham were. They were handed some life from stupidity from Doucoure. 110% a red card. I honestly don't want to hear anybody defending it. If you want to come on and defend it, feel free to come on and make and make yourself look stupid, because it's beyond a red card. Yes, Harry Kane goes down easy. Yes, Harry Kane play acts. Yes, Harry Kane is frustrating to rivals that want to see him, fail and not do that. But it's a red card every single day of the week. You can't. He didn't just strike him. You see he's grabbing his face. It's a red card every single day of the week. That cannot be denied in any way, shape, or form. They were given life there. A penalty. 100% a penalty. It's no luck for Spurs. Just given some life from stupidity, really, from Doucoure. That put Everton under pressure. And then maybe the world's worst decision. That we've got a 1-0 lead. Sit back. Sit back. Sit back. Invite on pressure. Why? Why are Tottenham doing this? That's the question I've got for you, the audience, because I don't know. Why? Why sit back and invite Everton onto you? There's a moment where Christian Romero is playing out from the back. There's no need for it. It is actually stupid. Legitimately stupid. There is no need to do what they did. None. Antonio Conte called them out for being bottle jobs. He called them out for not having the courage to play. And you saw why tonight. You saw why tonight. And listen, my team drops to 5th. So I wanted Spurs to lose. But I'm not worried about Tottenham. Tonight is why I'm not worried about Tottenham. We've got 2 games in hand. We're level on points. We'll be 6. We'll finish. Man United will finish the season between 6 to 10 points ahead of Tottenham. I'm not worried about them. Newcastle, Brighton. I'm actually more worried still about Liverpool than I am Tottenham. Spurs fans think I'm being shady. They think I'm attacking you for no reason. I'm not doing it. I'm not attacking you for any other reason than you deserve to be criticized. You were sitting in 3rd, 52 points. And you needed it because Newcastle and Man United have got 2 games in hand over you. Brighton, that sit 3rd, have got 3 games in hand. If they win their 3 games in hand, they go 3 points ahead of you as well. Tottenham could end this season in 7th. They could end the season 6th or 7th. Hanging on for dear life. Awful. Awful in the end. And look, it was a thunderbolt goal. A strike for the ages. But the bit that will be frustrating, if I'm a Spurs fan looking at this, is why did we sit back? You had all the ball after they went down to 10 men. You scored and then let them play. Look, maybe it's a Conte style. Your assistant manager, I know he's from the Conte school. But for me, yeah, I'm legitimately shocked. Legitimately shocked that Tottenham just allowed that to happen. Even by Tottenham standards, that is beyond poor. Even by Tottenham standards. We have some super chats here. First one says, it happened again. That is from Debbie. Thank you very much, Debbie Lee. Daniel says, doesn't matter who is on the pitch or in the dugout, Tottenham will always be Tottenham. It has to be a mentality thing. It has to be a mentality thing that has this happen. There's no manager to blame tonight. It's the players. But every team that plays at Tottenham goes through this. You're right. The king of the choke off the hook again, Terry. Listen, Man United. If Liverpool and Spurs played to their full capacity this season, Man United probably wouldn't be in the top four race. But they're not. And it's opening the door for Man United. It's opening the door for Newcastle. Spurs are probably 10 to 15 points off of where they should be based on last season, the money they spent, the manager they had. And it doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist. So yeah, listen, maybe you could argue Man United are being let off the hook. I don't really care. But that's why I'm not worried about them. Man up with half an hour to go, and you look like the club in 18th, down to 10. Never seen a more pointless signing than Danjuma. Feel bad for him. Yeah, I hear you on that, and the attitude from your team is crazy. Peter here says didn't even notice that Conte wasn't there. To be honest, still the same football being played when Conte's assistant is in charge. Have fun, Spurs fans. It won't change, is what Peter has got to say here. And I'm not even laughing at Spurs tonight. Legitimately, I'm not. I'm actually angry at them. I don't even know how it's possible. I'm angry at them. As a Man United fan, I'm loving it. As a football person, what I've just seen, it's almost inexplicable. 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 Conte left his assistant to prolong the torture. Well, that's the issue with what they've done. They've left the man in charge whose philosophy is going to match that, and of the manager. It's honestly crazy when you think about it. It really is. Mark here says, but we Man United have to beat Brentford Wednesday, Terry. Yeah, we do. And I'm confident at home. Just look at Man United's home record. I'm confident about Man United in this top four race. I'm growing with confidence for Newcastle again. But I didn't think Liverpool and Tottenham were going to be back in January when I did my final predictions. I didn't think Tottenham and Liverpool would be this bad. Newcastle were finding form. It's terrible from them. It really is. It really is. And the amount of games they've bottled. Why angry? Do you know what it is? I get annoyed at stupidity. I'm annoyed at Doucoure. The stupidity to lash out like that. Why? There's no reason for it. There's no reason. If Spurs were away against 11 men and took a late 1-0 lead against City, I can understand them sitting back and trying to absorb. But it's Everton. They barely score goals. It's crazy. Danjuma should join Everton like he was going to do. Yep. I think you're absolutely right there, Neeks. That would have been the best place, for him indeed. It absolutely would have been the best place. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. It really would have been. Sorry, there's people that are meant to be coming on the show, and I never know when they're arriving. So I got to chase them up. My guy Jerome here says 10 men Everton played better than us. Absolutely embarrassing, and sacking Conte was telling the truth. It's a great point. Terry, brother, didn't they say our race was run? They did. They did, my friend. X has a meltdown. There is no point where he starts cussing. Sorry. There is a point where he starts cussing underneath his breath like a child angry at his mum, but can't do better. Can't do anything. Sorry. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that later. Terry, it's the history of the Tottenham. It just is. It's ingrained in their DNA. It's ingrained in their DNA. After tonight, Danjuma regrets saying no to Everton. Yeah, I mean, Neek said the same thing. I, I totally agree. I absolutely agree with you. He's going to be sitting there thinking, why? I don't get any game time. I don't get shown any love. And Everton need a goal scorer. Let's take a drink of my water there. I think you're spot on. I think you're absolutely spot on when you say that. Spurs are mid once Harry Kane leaves. If he doesn't score, he wins them points through cheating. He didn't cheat tonight. He play acted. He went down soft. His wife might say to him later, "Come on, mate. I thought you were a bit harder than that." But anybody would want their player to do it. You've got to do it. If he stays on his feet, Doucoure probably doesn't get sent off, so he has to do it. When I said we when I said we, I can't actually read. When I said we were Everton level, I was absolutely right. Yeah, you're spot on, Jerome. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. You truly are. Truly are. Right now, anyway. Right now, you're at that level. And I'm not even, again, people, I'm not even exaggerating. I genuinely mean it. I genuinely mean it. We could have been playing every match. Sorry. He could be playing every match for Everton, especially with Calvin Phillips injured. Yeah, he could be. He should be there. Terry, you doing vodka? No, my friend. It's just water. I promise you, it's just water. I don't drink it out of a long glass. If it was vodka, it'd be in like a nice short crystallized glass or something. Bit of ice in there. Do you know what I mean? Bit of lemon. I don't need. Yeah, it's a Monday night as well. I'm definitely not on a drink on a Monday night. Orchi, my friend, I'm glad you're in there. I'm going to share the link now because I need you to send me your phone number, Orchi, so I can get in contact with you easier before games. There we go. We're going to bring out Jacob and Dan in a moment. Viewers, hit the like and the share button, but make sure you're downloading tonight the new episode of the Top 6. It's available on Spotify now. You can scan the link on the screen or click on the link in the live comment section or description below. Go get it downloaded now. Save it for after this show and have a little listen. A great 2-hour-long epic show tonight. You'll absolutely love it. Also, when you're on Spotify, give us a nice 5-star rating as well. I'm going to bring out guys. Jerome's coming on with us as well. Hit the like and the share button, people. Let's do this. Welcome back, guys. Commiserations on the draw. Young Daniel, talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
Yeah, again, we've done it again, Terry. We have done it again. I don't know what to say anymore. We got dominated by a relegation team. How more embarrassing does it get? We have an opportunity to go third. We have a very good opportunity to go third. What do we do? The same thing we always do. We mess it up. It's disgraceful at this point. I don't know how we do it. Honestly, it's actually just gotten super. I honestly believed once Everton got down to 10 men, I was like, this game is ours. There's no chance we lose this game. And then Mora gets sent off. You can't write a script any more embarrassing. It's impossible. We do this time and time again. And this international break has made me miss Tottenham. I miss watching Tottenham. Came back into this game, and then I'm like, oh man, I wish I could go back into international break. It's a mess, Terry. It's a mess. I don't know what to tell you. Our football club is a mess. We don't have the players that could play on any system. Everybody wanted Conte out. Conte said it. Any manager, this does not change. It's proved itself today. It's just proved itself today.
It certainly has. Jacob's here with us as well. We're going to bring in Orchi to the show as well. Jacob, just to be up against 10 men with minutes to go, sitting back. Why this approach from your manager?
I don't know if it's beat into the players to do this, if it is a tactical thing, but I mean, we've seen it in the past where, oh, that was cool. We've seen it in the past where when Stellini and Mason were in charge, they made tactical decisions that benefited us, and I really thought that I was going to see some of that today. The substitutions were highly questionable. I mean, Clement Longley for Davinson Sanchez, maybe I could understand that because he had the yellow card. He wasn't looking too well that match. Lucas Moura in the 82nd minute. Why not bring on Danjuma? Why not give him how many minutes were we about to give Lucas? 8 minutes plus stoppage time. I think that's atrocious. We didn't give those minutes to a player like Danjuma. He would have wanted to play angry, play with the chip on his shoulder. You talk about that extra 10% when it comes to what's the difference in a match, and it could have been the 10% from a player like Danjuma actually playing with some fire. And I thought that it was just very disappointing. I think at this point, I'm no longer angry. I'm just getting disappointed with my club. I expected more, even though we are with a dual-headed interim. I don't know what you want to call it, Stellini and Mason, but it's not working. It hasn't worked when Conte was here. When he was gone, it didn't really work, and we papered over the cracks. That's just kind of actually been the story of Tottenham this season. It's actually very, very discouraging to see, in my opinion.
Bro, I hear that. And I also look at the fact that the news has come out tonight that Chelsea are they're trying to bring in a manager now. They don't want to wait until the summer. They want to act now. They've got Nagelsmann top of their list. I believe Spurs have him as high up on the list, but he's waiting. There's links to. I mean, I got cooked yesterday on Twitter for saying this, but you're linked with Brendan Rodgers, who I actually think would be a very good fit for you guys. And I don't even mean this as a diss. It'd pay beautiful football and won't win you anything, but like I think that's where your board sit. That's my honest feeling. Your board winning a trophy is a bonus for you, but keeping Ryan Mason, and I don't even know this guy's name, the bald guy, keeping him, you ain't making top 4. You are not making the top 4. Jerome, I obviously see your hands are full there, my friend with the little baby. What are you saying, bro? Congratulations, by the way. Beautiful.
Thanks, man. Nah, man, it's just an embarrassment again to watch this team. You're telling me 10 men Everton pressured us. 10 men Everton played better than us for the whole half. You serious? This is an absolute embarrassment. And sacking Conte for that, when he said the truth, when he said those players are butlers, we've seen this years and years and years and years, and now we're saying, oh, we sack Conte just for saying the truth. An absolute embarrassment. And now we're having Stellini staying back. What for? To just play the same shit again. And then the press conference would be like, oh, coming to Everton is a hard place to play. We haven't won an away game in a long time. Okay? Start of this year, we haven't won an away game. And it's continuing it again. This is an embarrassing team. When I said we were at the level of West Ham, Everton, and all of the team, we can't be saying we are top 6 team. We can't be saying like Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, or our rivals. They've won Premier Leagues. They have Premier League pedigree. We have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Our rivals should be West Ham, Everton, and anything on the bottom of the league. That's what we should be. That's our level right now. You're telling me Tottenham, 10 men, they can't push. They can't push. We're just playing back and just waiting against 10 men. An absolute embarrassment. Seriously, I'm just frustrated.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm loving the fact that you're holding in the anger because your baby's there. And you're here. I feel
Terry. I'm serious. It's like
baby girl or boy?
Baby girl.
Baby girl. Are you making her? You're going to be a Tottenham fan?
Please don't, Jerome. Please don't.
Nah.
Thank you.
Nah.
Thank you.
I'll be like what your dad told you, Terry. You can decide whatever team you want to support, but do not support Tottenham.
Do not let her,
but don't do that.
Don't let her fall for my mistakes.
Hopefully, we'll improve by then. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Orchie, long time no speak, my friend. Talk to me about tonight.
It's absolute shambles, mate. I can't. I'm so angry, to be honest. It's where do I start? I mean, exactly what guys have said. I don't understand why Danjum isn't getting a game. I don't understand how Son is still starting games. Okay, Conte's gone. So why do we not try Danjuma? Start with Danjuma. Start with Mora even. And we've got 20 minutes to go, like you say, to see out the game. It was quite clear. Skip wasn't exactly having a great game today, but certainly in the last 20 minutes, why not change it up? Take Skip off, bring Sarr on. And I understand Langley had a yellow card, but I mean, Davinson Sanchez is an absolute joke of a player. I still can't believe how that guy gets a game, even if it's just for the last 20 minutes. It was just shambles. It was just one decision after another. And when Conte was away, Stellini was, he did all right. But then, I assume, that was under kind of Conte's instructions. But, I just, like you were saying, Chelsea, all right, they sacked Potter, but they're immediately taking action. And this club, this is exactly what's wrong with Tottenham. They should be going, whoever it is that they want, whether it's Nagelsmann, whether it's, they're going to go and get Pochettino again, or whoever it might be. Act now. There's 10 more games to go. And Tottenham, like how, like Jerome was saying, we're not a Liverpool, we're not an Arsenal, we're not a Manchester United. If we end up outside the top 4, it's going to be difficult to get the kind of quality players, our first choice players that we want to get in the summer. Yeah. We're not going to get it. So top 4 for us is important because Liverpool can still, even if they end up finishing 5th or 6th, Chelsea, if they end up getting 8th or 9th, they're still going to go and get the top players that they need.
Orchie, I've got a question. Those top players that we want so badly, why didn't we get those same top players last summer with Champions League football? We went out and got an older goalkeeper than Hugo Lloris. We paid 60 million for Richarlison. We got a stopgap in Clement Longley, and we got a bunch of players that we didn't need. We didn't cover the problems. Top four won't do anything. Champions League will not do anything.
No,
Top players call for top dollar, honestly, and that money speaks at the end of the
we don't
day.
pay
And
it.
if we're not going to shell out 80, 100 mil on top players like a Josko Vardy, all these players that we can never even imagine coming to Spurs, we're never going to progress because we're going to spend mid-table money. We're going to spend, and the quality that we bring in is going to be mid-table. And to me, that's the problem. And it starts at the head.
And it's Levy, it's Levy, it's
I think
Enoch, it's Joe Lewis. As I think we need to change those guys need to change. Unless they do something completely different, unless they're going to a Bowley, they show me that they mean business, which they haven't so far in the last 20 years. It's not going to.
23 years old, Chief.
They won't do that. They won't do that. But for me, I don't think the problem for me personally is how much they spend. I think it's more on where they spend it on. And you see transfers like I love Richarlison, but 60 million for him is a disgrace. That same 60 million, you could have gone and splashed it on a center back, and you have a quality center back. It's stupid. The way that we use our money is dumb. That's the problem.
Dan. We like one example, right? Christmas time, Trossard. We could have got Trossard, and we let him slip to Arsenal because we were dilly dallying, and then Arsenal went in one day. They made an offer, and they got Trossard.
And it's I know you ended up with Kulusevski last year, but that's 2 Januaries running. The previous January, you spent all January trying to get the price down for Luis Diaz, just for Liverpool to come in the dying moments to take him.
And then I believe.
And you're not always. And the thing is, you can't always then pull off a Kulusevski. That was a quirk of fate. Alan joins us for the first time in a while, my friend. What are you saying, bro?
This is why when Conte left, I said we must get in a manager because Stellini is just Conte watered down. A little bit of freedom in the first half, like we saw when Conte wasn't there. And then literally exactly what was under Conte happened tonight. Everton, who are fighting relegation, are down to 10 men, go a goal down, and you sit back and you allow them to press. You make a defensive substitution, and then you just basically go, okay, let's put everyone behind the ball. And we shot ourselves in a third. We don't deserve Champions League football. I don't want Champions League football. I've had enough of this. Let's get top 4. That mentality we've got into is literally, Champions League. And that's where we deserve to be. No, I've had enough of it. Let's talk about the situation. Why is Lucas Moura coming on when he's leaving in the summer? And people like Danjuma are just to get yourself sent off to add to the problems. You've got plenty of players there that didn't play today. Sorry, we've got to call a number of players out. Skip was awful in the midfield today. And we can't just go after certain players because they're not like from Tottenham and stuff like that. Eric Dyer was, problematic in defence. Son, I'm sorry, again, was absolutely nowhere. He's ball, like passing, getting caught in possession. Absolutely everything about Son was off again today. It's people saying it's a bad season, all that. You can understand that, but I think you need to cash in on players like that. Harry Kane's going to go cashing on him. We need a complete refresh. And yes, we can blame the owners in regards to not having the funds there the entire time. But let's not get it twisted. Loads of this fan base were saying, we won the transfer window, we done this, we done that. And now because they haven't worked out, now all of a sudden it's like, we didn't get what we needed. No, we had 6 players in, loads of Spurs fans. I gave it a 7 out of 10. You could have had a quality centre-back come in to top it off and have a bit more stability. But you had so many problems that you had to solve. People going, Basuma, let's go to sort of midfield. You've got a backup keeper that isn't Galini, who's going to cause who was absolutely awful. A backup to Harry Kane, which Spurs fans have asked for long times, even I have. So we get these in and we're like, okay, it's not bad. And then all of a sudden it's like, we don't get anything. Let's blame the owners. No, let's blame mismanagement of players, of performances as well. Let's blame players who have not shown up this season. Let's blame the owners as well for their thing. You've got to blame across the board. Going after the owners is so easy. I'm Enoch and leave you out, but just going after one problem is just so easy to do. You need to blame across the board, and even Harry Kane gets blamed. Yes, okay. He scored the penalty and all that, but for most of that game, he was getting bodied and manhandled, and he weren't leading by example. You've got to blame everyone. You can't just go,
Alan,
gender, I have to blame one person or one entity. It's all of them.
I'm sorry, bro. I love you, man. But who do you think the blame falls to? Who do you think the blame falls to? The manager? Okay, listen to this. Who appointed the manager?
Everyone.
You think the blame is on the players? Who bought the players? At the end of the day, the blame is going to go to the owners, because they're the ones that make the end decision to buy these players. I'm tired of sitting here and hearing people say, "Oh yeah, but Daniel Levy's not playing on the pitch." Who's playing on the pitch? The players. Who bought those crap players? The owners. The blame gets on the owners.
To add to that, Dan, think about the mindset of a player like Kane. You mentioned Kane, Alan. I mean, if you think about it, his mindset going into this match is what? Is looking forward to the summer? Is he looking forward to the next project with Tottenham? That's a problem that the owners did to us. That mindset of players like Kane, Sonny. What's the point of going out there and trying? That's the owner's problem.
Okay. Can we?
So I just want to get Alan's response on that. Go on, Alan.
Yeah, sure.
So what the idea is, let's wave the white flag and let's just all put our feet up for the rest of the season and do nothing.
Okay.
Come on. No.
Who's my manager? Is it Stellini? Is it Mason?
I don't care. You're paid to do a job. You do that job regardless.
Right. And if your boss is who? If you don't have a boss, who are you supposed to look for advice when you're going through adversity? Who are you supposed to turn to when you have a question, or maybe if we're not doing this right, who can steer us in the right direction? Who is it? Stellini or is it Mason?
So hold on. It doesn't matter, because these same performances are like that when we were under Stellini for certain times. These players showed up, so we can't have it both ways now. That they show up for when they want to.
What do you mean they showed up?
Alan, they always do.
No, what do you mean they showed up? You said that they
They
showed up. I'm asking, what do you mean?
They do this. He's talking about that 5-game win streak when we had. Alan, I think you're forgetting something. Under every manager, we have the same dumb win streak. Even under Nuno Espirito Santos, we had the same win streak. And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we were top of the league for like 5 weeks, and everybody was throwing a party." At the end of the three.
Yeah, three.
We have these win streaks. And then we start losing, and every single player at the club is in Levy's office crying. So they do this every single time.
Who do you blame, Dan? Who should you be blaming?
The players and the owners, because the owners are the ones that buy the players.
When things go well and we win, and we're like under after 3 games we were top, and then under Mourinho when he first started we were top by October, November, and all that. So we have those win streaks. When we were top under Mourinho and top under Nuno for a little bit, everyone was like that. Well, nobody blamed Levy.
Squeaking by with a few wins versus teams who are struggling doesn't constitute. I'm sorry.
I mean, it can leave you out, but we've got on that pitch today was poor mismanagement by Stellini. Stellini, literally ridiculous balls. Like,
who hired that guy?
Hitting everyone behind the ball.
Who hired Stellini?
Thank you, Jacob.
Who hired Stellini?
Who
put Stellini in that position to make those calls?
If you're going to sack Conte with 10 games to go,
Stellini's got
and we had an international break, Alan. We had an international break, and if you're going to sack Conte, fine. I don't disagree with that. But then you get somebody in immediately, because at the moment everybody knows Stellini is not going to be the next manager. Like the players even know that he's not going to be there come the summer.
Nagelsmann is sitting there.
Yes. What was the first sentence I said when I came on? This is why I wanted, when Conte went, I wanted a new manager. So you're basically saying I didn't say that when it was the first sentence I said.
But it doesn't matter who comes in at the end of the day. Alan, it doesn't matter who comes in. Does it not matter? We've seen every single style of football under this owner, and none of them work. What next style of football do you want to see to make it prove to you that it's not the manager's fault? How many different managers do you want to see fail at this football?
Dan,
give me a number.
Hold on. Stop for a second.
I said
You're saying...
So it's not to hear that, because I said you can't blame it all on him all the time. You want to pick and hear what you want to hear. Like what you want to hear. I've said Armenia can leave you out. They need to do better. They've sold us short on numerous occasions. I have put them to the sword many times, but performances like that with a ton of players that go around going, I can't be bothered here. Manager that's like, okay, we're 10 minutes against him, Everton. You're on 1-0 up. You should be all over them, making them run around and all that stuff like that. You know, going for that second goal, killing the game off. It was on them as well tonight. It's not just about the owners. The owners take blame for loads of stuff to do with Spurs. We're great off the pitch, rubbish on the pitch. I get that, but in performances like that today, the owners now a problem, but you hold the people, the manager and the players who did not show up,
who brought the players,
who've done something stupid. You hold them to account as well.
Real quick, I do want to specifically talk about some of the players that you were going after there, Alan. I'm not going after, but that you brought up was part of the reasons that we were struggling today. Heung-min Son, if you look at Heung-min Son's heat map, why is he playing left midfielder? Why is he not playing left forward? Why is he not playing left wing? That I blame on a managerial, and that has been a problem this whole season since Conte was in charge. That's a tactical thing. And to me, I don't know. Blaming Son for our problems. I'm sorry, he's not a magician who can pull rabbits out of the hat. I know he's gotten a lot of criticism this season. He's admittedly taken that on as well. Okay, so I think it's just a little bit unfair when we look at a match like today and see the fact. I do blame Stellini. I do blame Mason. I do blame the people who put those people in charge. Because quite frankly, if you have a restaurant that the hostesses are mean, the servers can't do their job, who am I blaming? Am I blaming the establishment? Or am I blaming those dumb servers and the really angry hostess? No, I'm gonna write CEO. I'm gonna go to the head and say, look, this is the problem. That's what's happening is we're just so complacent with what we see, and it's just, you said it was easy to blame the owners. I think it's easy to say Heung-min Son didn't show up or that he's had a down season. But if you look at what he's been asked to do, it's not to his strengths.
I know, and here's the thing again. You're going that I'm not blaming the owners. As soon as we just go with people doing and all that, as soon as we go, it's the owners. We come away from the things that need to be looked at with the people in charge, like the management as well. I've said I will say again, when I first came on, I said this is why I wanted a manager in as soon as Conte went, because you still got Stellini, kind of reminiscent of what Conte does, like watered down. I've said that. You guys are hearing that I've just not blamed Daniel Levy and Enoch, which I do for everything else, but based on today, you can't hold that performance, like individual performances and missing out on trophies and stuff like that. You can't kind of always put to them because people not showing up in finals and stuff like that. As soon as you take away and say, oh, it's all the owners, then you give people like a person I didn't name who I should do, Perisic, looks absolutely awful tonight. You take away from people that aren't performing on the pitch. You take away from the tactics, the manager, the not seeing games out and the bottling. You've got to blame across the scale. You don't just blame one entity. But people go as soon as Spurs start.
I agree with you, Alan. I agree with you.
And I mean, it can't leave yet. And people go straight away. Oh, it's the owners. But then you give people who misperform and perform poorly an excuse to continue picking up a paycheck week in, week out and performing. Performances.
Dyer been getting a paycheck for 10 years. He's still here. Who do I blame for that?
I hear you, boys. I want to go to some super chats, but before I do that, I need to ask you a question, Jacob.
Yeah.
You're American, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your name's Jacob.
That's correct.
You got long hair.
That's correct. Yeah.
Are you a werewolf?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I do sleep pretty heavy, so I don't know.
I just wanted to check because
Twilight vibes, some Twilight vibes.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Super chats. We're going to super chats now. Don't mind me, Terry. I just wanted to correct Dan that our loss to Southampton at home was more embarrassing than this. Plus, it's Tottenham. No disrespect is what Blaze says here. He also goes on to say, if he picks Spurs, he's a better man and stop him. He's Jerome's child is a girl, but I think he wrote that before he knew. Spurs won't see Champions League football for another 10 to 20 years when Kane leaves. Newcastle and Brighton will replace them. I mean, do any of you think it could get that bad? Do any of you think it could become that bad?
It's possible, and it can get that bad because currently where you are at the business end of the season. You don't have a manager. Where is this club headed? So that question comes in definitely because you are fighting against the likes of some really good managers, some teams that have gotten up the form. You have some really tough fixtures as well. Like now you're Brighton away. You have, I think, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Man United in a row. Those few games in a row. So I think it's definitely, if you don't get Champions League, it's going to be another disaster. But does it really matter now if we don't get Champions League? We go to Champions League, crash out in this round of 16. It doesn't really matter, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
and I just want to talk about the thing about Kane. Everybody is saying Kane needs to leave to go and win trophies. But let me ask you a question, guys, today. Where was Harry Kane against Sheffield? Where was Harry Kane against...
He was on the bench.
No, wait. He came in after, right? Where was Harry Kane against Middlesbrough? We were supposed to be winning and going against that. Where was Harry Kane against Milan? And where was Harry Kane today? I know he scored a penalty, but where was he today?
He's 10 men Everton. But he's not a magician. He's a 10 good footballer, but he's not Everton. A magician.
But he's supposed to be our man, right? And we're all saying he needs to leave Tottenham to go and win trophies. Yeah? But our best Champions League run was without Harry Kane, right? And when we went to that final, Harry Kane was playing. Where was he? Again,
he was injured.
Where was he?
Yeah. And plus, we had a better team, Jerome.
He played the game.
We had a better
and he
squad.
played in the Carabao Cup final as well. Did not show up. So do not
Also
tell
didn't
me
have a manager.
But do not tell me that Harry Kane needs to leave Tottenham to go and win trophies, because the guy always disappears. The guy disappears when it matters. In the league, he's a beast. He'll be scoring left, right, and center. When it doesn't really matter, he will score for you. But when it does matter for us to win a trophy, Harry disappears. Okay? Let's just be that.
I'd love to take him at Man United. If you're up for selling him, Jerome, let me know, brother.
He should be going to Bayern, not to Manchester United. If he wants to leave, go to Bayern Munich. Why should we sell him to another Premier League team?
He's coming to the red part of Manchester. What is the point in you guys supporting Spurs? Just support Arsenal, Real Madrid, or Bayern Munich. It's better for your health. It's not all about winning. Well, it is and it isn't.
It's about winning.
It is about winning, but you can't.
No, it is about winning.
But I don't know. But if everybody just picked the teams that win the trophies, like 99% of football clubs would die.
No, Terry, like picking your team has nothing to do with winning. But the way that you feel around the club and the way that the atmosphere should be around the club does revolve around winning. And the main thing about a football club is winning.
Yeah. No, I hear that completely. No, I totally understand. This here says, what do you feel if Kane comes to United and is successful like RVP? How would you guys feel about that?
Typical
I wouldn't
Spurs.
care. He's not a Tottenham player at that point for me personally.
I would be so happy. Yep. Honestly, he deserves it, man.
He's not a Tottenham player. Yeah, on the side, I might clap for his family. Like, that's cool. You have a nice new shirt to hang in the decor room. But at the end of the day, he's not lifting a trophy for my club, so I can't really get behind that. I don't really care. It would feel the same as if McTominay was holding it up next year. It doesn't matter.
What's the stat?
I am not
70 players or 70 trophies, like players that leave Spurs go on to win trophies. It's 70 trophies.
Even Nuno.
Players. It's just the norm. People come
even Nuno
win a trophy. It's the norm. I don't know.
No, we have given Manchester United enough. We've given them Berbatov. We've given them Sheringham. Why should we give them Harry Kane this time?
Don't forget Carrick.
Carrick, yes, and Carrick. And all three were the most successful players over there. They won trophies left, right, and center. Why do we need to give Harry Kane again? No, we've given enough to Manchester United.
The problem is the owners weren't the problem buying these players when you all said you'd won the summer transfer window, is what Eduardo has said here.
I want to add on to that.
Sorry, go on, Chris. No, go on, Christian.
Yeah. So actually, I agree with that. It's not just the buying the players, but the other thing is our budget in terms of our recruitment as well. Like, how much do we invest into the whole recruitment structure? Recently, I think Premier League released the stats as well, and we are quite below in terms of how much we have invested into our recruitment. So it's not just that you're not buying players, but it also shows that you're not investing into a system that buys the right players, the right system, and the right type of players. I think we have all said that, and our recruitment budget is really low. Like, we are below some of the lower tier clubs, even in terms of how much we have invested into our recruitment. So it's not just buying the players, because sometimes it's easy to get distracted that buying players is solve all your problems, but you need a good system of scouting as well, and we lack that. Like right now, we are buying Clement Longley a new deal. We are buying him as a player when you don't even have a manager. Like, what system is he fitting into? Have you consulted the manager? You are just buying him on an interim because he's just cheap. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, that's a very, very good point. Waking up early in Malaysia for
I'm in Malaysia, by the way. I'm in Malaysia.
Oh, you're in Malaysia. So what's that word? Is it Sahar?
Sahur.
Okay. Observing Ramadan month, feeling full after Everton equalised. Come on, you Gooners. That's very Gooner. I thought you got up extra early to watch this game, but it turns out that no, you didn't, and you enjoyed it. So that's brilliant. Well done. Nangusman is not coming. Also, ironic that you are asking the same owners to hire a new manager. That's a great point. Who do you guys think you're gonna get? Like, honestly, who do you think you're gonna get?
Potter. I could see
Potter or Rodgers.
I could see Potter.
Who would you prefer, Daniel? Rodgers or Potter?
Oh, I could care less. I'm gonna be completely honest. Nobody's gonna do anything at this football club. Terry, I'm gonna be honest. What's it gonna change? It doesn't matter. Nobody comes in and wins anything at this football club. So, to me, I could care less.
Fair enough. This super chat here. For what Spurs spent on Richarlison, Newcastle bought Botman, Burns, Trippier. Spurs waste money as usual. That's crazy. That's crazy. It was.
And did you guys see how Newcastle are playing?
He's injured.
They are
Richarlison's
amazing.
injured.
Yeah, the way they're playing is great. United fans just pray that Perry Payne doesn't sign for us. Harry Kane. Trust me, you won't win. Biggest bottler in the history of football. Harry Kane overrated. Is that?
He's not overrated.
That's arguable.
He's not overrated.
It's hard to overrate someone when there's no one above him in the stats.
He's not overrated. He's just, let's be honest, he's finishing's phenomenal. Like people, this is what I don't get. People that say for Spurs, he's a failure, but he's won nothing for England. But them same people that say he's been successful for England because he's got the most goals for England. You got to be consistent about this. The only thing with Kane is that when it's come to the big moments, he's been found wanting. Until he turns that around, he's going to have his critics, which is understandable. Is he one of the best strikers in world football? Yes. Is he considered? Can you put him when he retires on the same level as all the ones that have gone before, like in all the winning, like trophies and everything like that? No, because he hasn't won anything. So people always say he's the rung below, and you can understand that why they're saying that. So it's just one of them things. He's got to win something.
Yeah, but that's when you're talking about legacy. When you're talking about legacy, yes, that's a valid point. But when you're talking about quality, it's a completely different argument.
Yep.
That's why I said he's one of the best strikers in world football. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
So I did say he's one of the best strikers.
Yeah, I don't think he's overrated. I honestly think that there's an element that's on him, but my dad always said to me as a kid, "You are what you hang around with." And and then I saw it in a very famous film where a guy says to a young girl, "If you hang around with yo-yos, you become like yo-yo people. You become a yo-yo." I don't really know what that means. Rocky said it, right? And it's true. And Harry Kane is surrounded by failure at the elite end of the spectrum. And if you're someone that wants to become successful in business, start hanging around with people that are successful in business. If you want to be around nice people that are charitable, hang around with nice people that are charitable. You are what you hang around with. And Harry Kane needs to get away from a club who don't care about winning. And listen, Man United may not be the best place. I obviously want him as a reason because I think we're moving towards that. But he should have left. He shouldn't have signed the last deal that he did. And he should have moved himself to a club that can win, because you lot will remember him forever. But this man will be forgotten about to a degree if he's only got the goal scoring record, because Alan Shearer won a Prem. He's got the goal scoring record and everyone knows who he is. But if that man weren't on Match of the Day, he would have fallen away from notoriety a lot quicker. And no disrespect to Harry Kane, he doesn't give me the sense that he's going to be a television person with the way he talks. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. He's not television friendly. Maybe he will change, but he won't be. And I don't even mean that rudely. Players, not manager or CEO. The manager picks the best, is what Jay says here. Vindaloo says Tottenham are like fertility. They bang that thing until the consideration drips from the condensation drips from the ceiling, but it ain't gonna happen. Get Vincent Company.
Company already said no.
Imagine. Have you seen? Terry, have you seen that video that's been going viral of Vincent Kompany giving his team talk?
Lawsuits at Tottenham.
If he gives that team talk in the Tottenham locker room, every single player in that locker room is in Levy's office the next morning crying.
Yeah. Let's just face it. Someone like Kompany, for people to take Kompany, he will destroy his career if he comes to Tottenham. This is an embarrassment for us. This is how bad we are run, to say to Vincent Kompany, if he comes to us, he will destroy his career. This is just amazing, to think of that. But it's just insane. To just say he's going to destroy his career.
I've seen him play in a while. Thoughts on what Lucas Moura did? We haven't really got onto that at all. Get himself sent off like that. I was flabbergasted, absolutely flabbergasted. That he did it. I couldn't believe he did it. Legitimately, I could not believe what he did.
I think this ties into the points that we are already making. It's in the DNA of Tottenham. I mean, we bring on a guy who's been at Tottenham for over 5 years, and what has he done for us? Not that much, except the night in Amsterdam, which by my math, that was almost 5 years ago now. So to me, players like him, players like Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, it's sad that when he comes in as a left wing back, he's an actual upgrade on the left wing back that we got for free in the summer. To me, that is a systematic problem. Once again, kind of going back to what we were talking about. When you have these players, and Eric Dyer goes on Barstool Sports or whatever, laughing at the fact that his club doesn't win anything, laughing along with Dave Portnoy like he's at a Miley Cyrus concert. This is the type of mentality we have at the club. They laugh at the fact that we don't win anything. They laugh and they think it's funny. Oh, Tottenham does. Yeah, no, I don't win anything. It's bullshit. To me, when you have that mentality, and how long has that guy had a locker in that locker room? Like you said, Terry, when you hang around certain people, it's going to rub off on you, whether intentional or not intentional. It's just the way nature is. I mean, look at plants. They overtake any man-made structure, give them long enough. And we've had Dyer here long enough to overtake his nasty little roots just sunk into that locker room, and it's poisoning us. And that's where we're at. We have just players spotted throughout our locker room. And eventually Romero will break. Eventually Richarlison will break. And they'll either succumb to what the energy is in that locker room, or they get the hell out of here and go win a trophy.
Bro, you're absolutely spot on with what you said there. And this happens, the younger viewers maybe won't get this. But you could probably look, I'll give a younger example for the younger viewers. Classrooms. We've all been to school here. There are certain classrooms where even the good kids misbehave when the teacher's soft and you get away with it. Where there are some teachers and some classes where even the naughty kids behave because that teacher has the respect of the room but has high standards as well. And that's the same in a workplace. You can have, I've worked in the same office with different leaders running it and worked harder for some and not for others, because you get human beings naturally, if they can get away with not giving their all, if they can get away with cutting corners, they can get away with failure and they don't get punished. People do it because it's actually easier to be a football player at Tottenham this season than it is to be at Arsenal. Arsenal may seem more enjoyable, but do you know how much harder they've got to work? Do you know how much more concentration you have?
You can say the same thing about Southampton.
The heartache and toil that you have to go through. With Spurs, they know they come fifth. They still know they're going to be okay. And that mentality is why you won't ever win. It's true. This super chat here said, if Arsenal was, by the way, Ochi, your microphone keeps rubbing on your t-shirt. That's why I keep using and people are talking. When I first started doing YouTube, I used to have those same earphones. And I used to stream with, go back and watch my old ones. I used to stream with my arm like this because it rubs on the thing. If Arsenal was 8th this season, Conte would still be at Spurs and these lot would be happy, like owners, like fans, failure. I will say this, football terrorist Spurs fans, barring George and Patty, sorry to call you out, boys, are not like that. They're not like it. All the Spurs fans that call me out on Twitter, those guys are like that. I'm going to be blunt with you. They are like it. Saba's not like it either. By the way, George and Patrick are not. I'm just winding you up. But there's a lot of Spurs fans that are like that, though, guys. That's why you lot are here, by the way, and not on some dead Spurs channel somewhere. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, in regards to that, like I've seen quite a few Spurs fans recently on like TalkSport and stuff like that say, they're happy with where we are because at least we're there, at least we're competing. The idea is not to be there or thereabouts or be on the fringes of stuff. The idea of football is to win trophies, and the way it's done now in the media and like with owners and the way they make things sound is, we've got the best stadium, we've got the best facilities, we've got this coming to Spurs, that coming to Spurs. I couldn't care if you want to do Mario Kart. I don't want to care if you want to do experience days at Spurs or anything like that. All I want to see is Spurs win trophies. And that's what it's got our fan base, quite a lot of our fan base, not including people on here don't feel like what I'm saying is a lot of this Spurs fan base now are happy to be there, like with, we've got the best stadium in world football, or we've got the best training facilities, or I can go and do like Mario Kart or whatever the hell they want to do. We can do Formula 1, stuff like that. And Spurs fans are happy to just be there and compete because we've got all this fancy stuff. But football is about winning trophies. It's about being at the top of the elite, with medals and stuff like that. And we don't have that. But Spurs fans are happy to not have that and have the fancy stuff in the background. It makes no sense to me.
Virgin's Day out at the clubs, what it sounds like to me.
Completely I'm going to go to you in a second. You're absolutely right when you say that. But some people enjoy that kind of that thing. When I lived in Manchester, I swear on my children's life, I am not making this up. City were in it. They were a nothing club back then. And I used to work in Phones for You in Stockport. A lot of City fans worked there. And we'd get into that talks about what they would argue reasons why their club's better. And they used to say things like, we've got the tallest floodlights. One of the things is they used to say, celebrate the fact that they have salt and pepper on their food areas inside the stadium, and Man United don't have salt. Legitimately, they would say these things to you because that's all they had. And Spurs, you've got better things than that. You've got an amazing stadium, whatever else, but you're celebrating the wrong stuff. I wouldn't legitimately. It's crazy.
It's not to celebrate. I just want to say one thing. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate, because in the modern game, obviously, business is important. You need the money. You need those kind of things. You need a good, successful, well-run club to have the money to be able to spend, to buy the players, etc. But what we're not doing,
where's the return on investment?
Investing it correctly. That's the problem. I mean, I'm all for, go out there, make as much money as you can, get the club in the best financial position that you can, get all these corporate deals and all that kind of stuff. But then invest that correctly, or get the right attitude. And I absolutely hate the fact that, like, if you're going to get a top manager, then you got to play to his system. You got to buy the players that he wants, and so that he can get his system as best as possible. And then if it doesn't work out, then you can blame the manager. But Tottenham never do that. Levy never does that. Levy just goes out and buys whoever he buys, and then it's up to the manager to make that work. And to me, that's just backwards. That's like, I've never seen that really work 100%. Anywhere in the long term.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing is, it's not only Levy, it's also the fans. A lot of fans want Conte to play attacking football. He's not an attacking manager. And then the other argument is, it's boring.
Like, we got so close with Pochettino, right? I mean, I know Pochettino has his limitations and stuff, but let's you've got to give him credit. We got so close to kind of almost breaking that glass ceiling under Pochettino in his sort of second or third season. But then what did we do? We go and we didn't buy a single player for 500 and something days for nearly 2 years. Just at that point where we could have moved on to that next level, we didn't do it. We didn't back him. So, and then obviously it all went wrong. I remember, Terry, and I know you'll remember this, even the great Manchester United teams that have won doubles and trebles, I've never remember Alex Ferguson, not even when he's had some of his best teams, not spending money and not bringing fresh players to keep refreshing that team year after year after year, every season. That's how you win. That's how you have longevity. That's how you create a legacy, a team that's capable of challenging year after year after year. But we never do that.
Do you know what's interesting? Man United between the summer of 99 and around 2002, we won the league at a canter every year when we did a three-peat. But we didn't actually buy enough, and we got a little complacent, I think. And that's why that really good team probably didn't win another Champions League. We just didn't quite invest correctly. And then we went and got Varane, who didn't work out. But that kind of investment maybe should have come a year or so earlier. And Arsenal fans will remember, after going invincible, they didn't invest enough in improving that squad, because sometimes you can get into your head, we're the best, so we don't need to. But you need to keep everybody sharp. You need to keep everybody sharp in your team and in your squad. You really, really do. You're right.
Yeah, and that's the reason why Alex Ferguson was the most successful manager in the Premier League. Alex Ferguson would not allow anything. He would break the team, rebuild it, redo everything over and over. If you look at the Manchester United team, he never got stuck with the same team. He always been changing and always had included really good players to that and developing them. That's why he's been so successful at Manchester United. But look at us. We've spent more money on paying off managers than actually sticking to one manager and making sure that he develops those players and improve on players. No, we didn't do that. Poch was trying to do this. He was, but didn't get any backing for 535 days. Nothing at all.
He got very little backing, but he was very fortunate in the players that he got. I think Pochettino has had a better squad than most of the other managers I've followed. I've got to be completely honest. Look at the whole squad. He had prime Hugo Lloris. He had Danny Rose. He had Kieran Trippier. He had two of the best center backs. Two of the best center backs I've ever seen watching Tottenham. The midfield of he had Wanyama, Ericsson, Dembele, Kane, Son. That team is stacked. No wonder
but
he did so well.
if you look at all the names you said, they are not like big name players, right? They all came from small teams.
Yeah,
Like none of them are like big name players. Dembele, he came all the way from Derby, so he came in and played here. Sorry.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, no, I completely agree with what Dan just brought up, and I think that's where the problem comes in when we say that okay, Harry Kane always bottles it in where it matters, because he is used to that particular atmosphere where he has the players who have been in that same club, who have not gone out to other clubs, or who have not had that exposure or that experience. Because when you are at the big level, when you are playing in the finals regularly, when you're playing in the knockouts or the crucial stages, you need to have that experience. That's where your class and your experience both matters, because there are nerves cracking in and all that. And I think the problem right now with Harry Kane is like, how often does he play the big finals or the big semis or big knockout tournaments where he can learn that experience as well, or develop it in him, that how to perform at that level. He hasn't had that opportunity as well at Spurs, and that's where the problem is. And he doesn't have players around him as well who can actually show him the way, or who can help the whole team settle with their nerves. Because you have players who are there for so long, since Poch time. They're just hanging around. They're just happy, like people like Ben Davies, Eric Dyer, and all that nonsense. Sanchez is one of them now.
They've become senior players in the team. I mean, these guys who are absolute shit have become the senior players in the team. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? You walk into like you're a new player like Danjuma or
he's gonna get a testimonial at this
Romero.
point.
But this is why I'm so against Poch coming back, because we're talking about the same players that are under Poch, but these are the same players that weren't good enough under Poch, who he dropped and was trying to get rid of. Yeah. The same players that obviously were, not performing for him and apparently down in tools and had animosity towards him and all that. So why are you bringing Poch back to that deficit to begin with all these bad players and everything like that? That's why I don't want Poch. But I understand the nostalgia. People like Poch because of what he done, but. Yeah. Poch was the right manager with the right players at the right time for Spurs. Everything fell into place and he done really well. What held us back, and this is where I do
still couldn't win anything.
We had a great 11 or great 12. They needed one or two quality players to tip them over the edge. But no, obviously they wanted to build a stadium for us to compete. I would give up that stadium in a heartbeat for an extra player or two for that Premier League and that Champions League that we could have won. I would give up in a heartbeat. The fancy stuff like that don't bother. But unfortunately, we went down the road of having a stadium, and now we've got all these revenues coming in to help us compete and all that. But when it comes to buying the players, where do you see us going to spend 80 million on a top quality player, 90 million on a top quality player? It's not. It's always shopping for deals and bargains and stuff like that, because that's the way we've always done business. So we can't have our cake and eat it. We know obviously our weaknesses in our owners, and that's why I want them out. But it's the way they've always done things at Spurs. And because it worked well under Poch, some Spurs fans were like, I'm happy with that because we'll come good again. But it doesn't always work.
It's also a different world now. Man United may have new owners and look like we're getting. I think in another year or so we'll be back near to our best. Arsenal are now backfiring, and I don't think Arsenal are going to fall off like Leicester did. Newcastle are on the way up with huge money. City are where they are. And by the way, look, we're all bantering Liverpool. Liverpool are not going to be as bad as this again next year. So what Poch did work. But again, you have to Chelsea. Yeah, you forget about them.
Yeah.
Spurs are going to have to even if Poch came back, you couldn't do it in the same way. You'd have to spend money. You really would. We're going to do some super chats on the show. I want to say a big thank you to everybody watching. First of all, hit the like button for us. But remember, the Top 6 podcast is now out on Spotify and on Apple. You can click on the link in our description or in the live comment section to go and follow us, or scan the QR code on the screen right now if you're watching on television. I know a lot of you do that as well these days. So give it a scan. Make sure you're following us. You set it to auto download and give us a nice 5-star rating as well. Either get that done now or do it at the end of the show. That would be absolutely amazing. Some super chats here. The first one says, where's Patrick and George? They don't normally do match reactions, but they had no excuse today because they weren't at the game. But Patrick said he was too angry. Spurs are like that guy who is an expert at foreplay but always falls short of doing the actual thing. I mean, in fairness, I mean, I can't speak for women, but foreplay can be very fun. But I do get your view, bro. I like that opinion. In London, in London, there are
forced by parents to support Spurs.
Forced by parents. Yeah, I couldn't read that properly. Forced to support Spurs, but how the heck Americans fall into that trap? Not every white shirt is Madrid. Think about your kids.
Yeah, we chose the pain as Americans.
To anyone who's not from North London. So it's actually all of you. But Ochi, where are you from originally? Is it Turkey from
No, no,
originally?
I'm originally Turkish, but I grew up in London like 30
Okay.
years.
So you in London, Alan, I get. But the rest of you, none of you sound like you're born and bred in North London. And I'm not trying to be offensive. Why Spurs, Jacob?
You couldn't tell by my accent I'm from North London?
No, to be fair, but yeah.
Well, Premier League was kind of tough to watch back when I was growing up. So I only played the sport really. But then as I got older, I really just wanted a club to support. But I didn't want to be one of these bandwagon fans. Like here in the States, there's a couple sports with a couple teams, and if you're a fan of those teams, you take a second and say, okay, how long have you been a fan? Because, they like to jump on the Seattle Seahawks or the Golden State Warriors because they're being successful. And so, around the time I was, falling in love with the sport, it's like, I'm not going to pick City, or I'm not going to pick Liverpool. I'm not going to pick United. I mean, these are the biggest clubs. Like, these are clubs that I'm aware of as an American who doesn't really have access to Premier League. These are clubs I'm aware of. I never heard of Tottenham. They were said to be in the top 6. That's debatable at this point. But also, I have a really good friend of mine that I run a YouTube channel with, and he was a major supporter of Tottenham, and he kind of convinced me. So I blame him. At least I have a person I can point to, like a parent, if I was raised this way. But I at least have one of my best friends. I can punch him up about it.
I like that. How about yourself, Chris?
For me, I started supporting Spurs at the worst possible time any fan can start supporting Spurs. I started supporting Spurs when Nuno was our manager. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
So I fell into the trap when Nuno was our manager. We were top of the league, and I researched a little bit on the club's history and the club's glory. And the history was there. There was a glory in the history of it, and all that stuff. And I started supporting Spurs, and then I realized what I've gotten myself into. But it is what it is, and I am Tottenham till I die.
So at least nobody can accuse you of being a glory hunter. And Jerome, I never asked you, Jerome, why did you do it, bro? Why did you do it to yourself?
What did you do?
Well,
The way he has.
yeah, pretty much it was because, look, during the time when I was young, I watched the game with Gary Lineker and Paul Gascoigne, and I fell in love with the team. It's just those two players during that time made me fall in love with that team. And boy, was I wrong after that. But no, it's just because of that. Just because of Gary Lineker and Paul Gascoigne.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
He's Spurs for me. Waddle and Waddle. Like that era. I remember that era. That's one.
I get that. Dan, you've probably told us before, but why Spurs? Why did you why did that happen? What happened?
I can't be asked. Oh my days. I'm just an individual that loves to put myself through pain.
You're sadomasochism or so. Is that what people pain themselves?
He is from Florida, so.
In all seriousness, like I was just one day at a restaurant, North London Derby. Kane cuts in through the right flank, whips it into the top corner. I see the limbs through the TV, and I'm just like, damn, that's my football club. And
was that the goal where he was out by the corner flag and he got the ball?
Yeah, took the mask off.
Yeah, that was a great goal. That was a great goal.
From that moment on, I went on Google on my phone. To be fair, I didn't have a phone at that time. I went on Google when I got home, looked up Tottenham. Like, that's my football club. That's my football. And to be fair, I was warned by a fair few amount of people. So I'm not going to sit here and act like a victim because I made the choice. But yeah, it's not been a pleasant life ever since then.
Yeah, it's a bit of, what is it you call people that like inflicting pain on themselves? What is the name of that kind of person?
A masochist.
Masochist, right, there we go. Yeah, it sounds a bit like that for some of you. No, I'm only joking. Listen, it is what it is.
At this point, it's getting there.
People don't. When I started being a Man United fan, was in 1989. People don't realize when I started being a United fan and watching football, we were crap. I picked us because David Beckham went to the same school as me, and loads of local people supported him. But then my dad tried to get me to be a Spurs fan because for Christmas, he said to my nan, get Terry a Spurs shirt. It'll be the white one in the shop. She bought me an away Man United kit by accident. And that was kind of like the starting point of it. And then there was the Beckham thing with my school. If she'd have bought that Spurs kit, I'd be sitting there in that group with you lot now shouting, thank you, Nan. Thank you. Like, honestly.
Butterfly effect right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, guys. Gotta go. I'll just talk to
No
you later.
worries,
See
bro.
ya.
Take care, my man. At least it's not Spurs and Scotland, lads. Oh, you're Scottish as well. Oh no.
I'm an English fan. I'm an
That's-
English fan. I'm an England fan.
You're an
I
England
support.
fan.
I support the England national team.
I like that. I like that. Listen, I want to thank
I'm an
you all
England fan too.
Bunch of phonies over here. Don't worry. I keep it real. USMNT all the way.
There we go. Listen, I want to thank you all for coming on. Viewers, you're amazing as ever. Please hit the like button before you leave and go check out the Top 6 podcast on Spotify tonight. Go and get it downloaded for us. Give it a little listen. It would mean a great deal to us if you could do that. Until next time, take care. Listen, I can't wait for fan channel review tomorrow. There'll be a bit of X on there, I'm sure. My DMs have already been lit up with people clipping him and sending it to me. They're like, go watch it. So we'll see you for that. We'll see you all for that in the morning. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.